think maybe we're back. So if anybody shows up, we're ready to rock, I believe. I don't know what the gremlins were going on today. The gremlins are in my computer. I'm going to blame it on somebody else. I don't know who. Because I'm the only one here. It must be my fault. Anyway. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Looks to me like sound is okay. Hello, Sharon, Joan, Terry. Is the sound okay for you guys? Please. It's good to see you all. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Hello, Peggy. Sound is okay. You hear me? All right. Does the sound all right to you, like normal? You got the voice, but does it sound like it normally? I'm just talking like I normally do. Does it sound like it's normal to you, like I do any other time? Yes? Okay. All right, well, we'll try again. I don't know what happened. Something glitched. That's the nature of computers. That's what they do. They glitch. They glitchify. It just goes with the rest of. Yeah, anyway. I hope you are here just for fun. Because that's what we're here for, is just for fun. Make yourselves at home. I'm going to cut some stuff while we yak a minute. Yeah, I'm just going to see if things settle down, and I will be with you in a second. For right now, I hope I don't get my head in your way, but if I do, apologies. I hope you're having a good day today. Let me just do this for a minute. I will show you what I'm doing and tell you why here in just a moment. You guys chat amongst yourselves a second. I was going to have all this done ahead of time, but that did not happen. I'm going to do 2 sheets of this cardstock. If I can keep my wits about me, we will find out. Hope you guys are having a good one. Sorry, head's in the way. Okay. Looks like my wits are almost about me. So let me do this one more time so I have a few more of these done. You know, I don't know about you guys, but December can be a strange month. Do you think? And I'll be eye contact with you all in just a minute. I don't know exactly what got in my computer to mess with my sound. And my sound tech, also known as Race, is in the Philippines. So I am on my own to figure out whatever has to be figured out. You know what I mean? Okay. Okay, more or less the same size. That's good. More or less. Okay, I got some stuff ready for us. Hello, Barbara Clark. All right, let me go back and say hello to everybody. Joan, Terry, Sharon, Peggy, Connie, Linda and Tim. Hello, you guys. Barbara Clark, Shue, Sharon Lombard. I don't know if I said hi to you or not. Jean Morris. Hello. You're putting up your Christmas tree, Jean? Good for you. Hi, Terry. Oh, Barbara Clark. It's the gremlins. It's the curse of December. The crazy in December. She lost her fountain pen. The gremlins came to get it. Okay, so let's see if we can just set all that to the side. And I got in the mail this week, shockingly, I will show you, a whole bunch of clearances. I did. Look at these. Yes, look at that. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. So once I get the prints, and these came from Persnickety Prints is where these came from. Turned out really well. The quality of the print is great. The finish is wonderful. And it looks very much like him. Hi, Dana. He's so cute. So cute. Once we sent those in, we sent them in on Friday, a week ago today. And we sent them in, and I had them on Tuesday. Is that right? Tuesday. Friday to Tuesday. I couldn't believe it. Their service is excellent. It's Persnickety Prints. So anyway, I highly recommend them. So once I get the prints, then it's a matter of figure out if I want to mat them, which I normally do. And so I try different colors of mats. So I'm going to show these to you. I will tell you ahead of time that I settled. All right, now why are you doing that? Because it's white. That's why. Sorry about that. Obviously that glitched as well. Oh well, we'll just deal with it. Okay? We'll deal with it. So I cut some different colors of greens and reds, and I settled on red, but I want to show you how the color makes a big difference if you're doing prints of your own. Some of this is really heavy cardstock, but I wanted to show you what a difference it makes in the way that the end print shows. Okay, so there's and each has an advantage, but I just thought I would show you. And the only way to know what you like is to do exactly what I did, which is just cut some different colors and then try them out. I know they really are. They really are. So there's kind of a limey green, which picks up the lime green in his scarf. This is a not a more Christmassy green. That picks up a little bit more of the background. And it's okay. You know, it's all right. It's not a big deal. Nothing wrong with it. But then on this one, if you put the red on it, it just makes everything brighter and better. Okay? Hey, Sarah. Is Sarah here? Did I see you? Yes. Hello, Miss Sarah. Yeah, they would look good on all the colors, but I like the red the best. And I have a couple of different reds. But I'm going to try and stick with one. And if I run out, I'll use the other one. Okay? So, I just wanted to show you that because also when I was doing a lot of mandalas with online and with classes and stuff, that was another thing that I like to show people is what the background, how background color could really affect your artwork. So if you're going to put a matte behind something, and often it needs it, how that color can dramatically shift and change and affect whatever the art piece is that you're doing. So anyway, there you go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make some cards today. I don't know how many we'll do, but we'll do some. Sarah, it's so good to see you. I hope you're doing okay. Think about you. There are several people that I think about a lot. Sarah's one. APG Jamie is another. They're going through a rough patch. And just, yeah. Be nice to people. That's what I have to say. Be kind. Think about other people. Pray for them. Send them good thoughts. Send them energy. Whatever verbiage you like to use. Okay? All right. So what I'm using, and this is going to drive the camera crazy, so we won't do too many of these. What I'm using is sets of cards. They're like this. I buy them at the craft store. This is from Recollections brand, I think is Michael's. So they're 40 sets. These are square cards and envelopes. The cool part about these is that they are pre-scored. You can see the score mark right there, just barely. See it right there. And so I like to buy them that way because then I don't have to cut them. All I have to do is fold them. So I still try to match up the edges because they're not necessarily perfectly folded. Their score mark isn't necessarily perfect. If you do that, if you use one of these Teflon bone folders, it will not shine the paper or the cardstock. And that really helps a lot. It also helps a lot if you just run the folder over the crease. And that just helps make a really nice crease. So I have several of them that are pre-folded here. So we're going to fold a few more. And then I think I'm going to ink some of the edges. So if you have some kind of mundane task to do, this is a good day to do it. This is a real good. This is a real good day to do it. We are currently, sorry, I'm going to have to go get a drink of water apparently. We're currently in a deep freeze here. And we got snow and yucky weather right after Race and Izzy left and went on their way they flew back to their home, and 2 days later they took off for Manila, Philippines. That's where she's from, and they generally go back sometime around Christmas, or sometimes they do it in the summer, and they go back and see family and friends and so forth. So that's why I said, I was going to have to figure out the computer thing by myself, because my computer tech is out of the country. He's probably asleep right now. I'm not entirely sure what the time difference is between there and here. But anyway, so December was a little crazy. I mean, it's a little crazy for most of us, I suppose. I could not figure out why I was feeling so wacky. I mean, just like weirdly out of sorts. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why am I doing this? Are you guys still here? I hope you guys are still here. Chat came to a screeching halt in this riveting show that we're doing here today. Anyway. Thank you, Joan. Barbara Clark, you are right. Mostly my brain wants to go into hibernation mode. And then when it got so cold and snowy and, cruddy, it made it worse, Anyway, I couldn't figure out what in the world was going on with just internally. I was fine, not sick, didn't feel bad, nothing. And it seemed like time was just, escaping so quickly, and there's so much to be done, and blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, honestly, I didn't realize it till this morning, that December has been kind of a difficult month for me for the last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, I don't know. It's been a while. Anyway, so it is not, when it finally dawned on me, I went, oh, okay. Actually, December's been a rough time for me for quite a lot longer than 5 or 6 years, but, sometimes we just have those times where, there's just a thing that happens to you, You've had some life experience, or whatever that's gone on, and the holidays, if you've had anything that's gone crackers associated with the holiday month, or anything around the holidays, if you've had that experience, it can really be I hate the word trigger, but I wish there was a better word. And I don't know, maybe you guys can come up with a better word. Seems to be kind of and the funny part about it is that I don't even I don't even realize it. You know, it's like December's here, and there's this and that and something else to do. Looking forward to going places and seeing people and doing things. And okay, if we got all these done, we will be doing so well. So we're not going to fold anymore. Anyway, enough. I'm going to try not to you know what I'm going to try not to do? I'm going to try not to bitch and moan. That's what I'm going to try not to do. Thanksgiving is it for you? I guess we all have stuff like that. Hey, Ruth. See, I mean, once you give people permission to say what it is and why it's strange, you know, we all feel, I think we all feel like we're not supposed to feel this way. You know, we're not supposed to be this way. And then when it is kind of weird for you, then you go, why am I feeling weird? It's just bizarre. Anyway, but if you give people permission to talk about it, which you can talk about here, even though we call it Drama Free Friday, sometimes it's not so drama free, let's be honest. Sometimes, you know, it gives people permission to just talk, you know? So there you go. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's do this. I have archival ink. I'm going to use Cobalt because it's what I have. It's one I like to use. And I'm going to ink the edges. Ugh. I'm going to ink the edges using a piece of cut and dry foam, which seems to have a sparkle on it. It's going to take a minute to get this to have some ink on it. I think I have another one of these. Maybe not. I thought I had another ink pad, but I can't put my eyeballs on it. I probably have it stuck away somewhere. Anyway, let's just go for it. Oh, it's going to work. Okay. I like a little bit of ink around the mat. This is going to be the part that goes down on top of the card. And I like to have a little bit of ink on there. I think it just gives it a nicer feeling of framing a little bit. It frames it just a little bit more. So there it is with ink. And there it is without ink. So there's not a horrible difference. It's just kind of what I like. Okay? So I'm going to take a minute, and this is archival ink, and it dries very quickly because I'm putting on a very, very small amount of ink. And I started with a new piece of sponge because this sponge does break down, and so once it starts giving you crumb poops, then you might as well, you're either going to have to put up with it or you're going to have to get a new piece. Dana's heading out. Okay. Hello, Dorothy. Also, anybody that's here that's a VIP member, the class is tomorrow, if all goes well. And so watch your email. I do not have the email sent out yet with all the information. So you're going to need to watch your email, and it may not even get to your email inbox until in the morning, because I still have to take a picture and finish up a couple of things, and I don't know. My energy level is not quite what it should be. Should be. There's nothing wrong with me other than I just am, yeah, I'm just, there's moments where you get in the weeds, and I suppose you guys all know what that is, what that means. And man, oh man, do I hate that. But anyway, on top of that, I had to go to the dentist this week. So there's just nothing like being in the weeds and having to go to the dentist, because I've lost a filling out of a tooth, so I had to go have that replaced. It took my body actually longer for the anesthetic to take place, because once you lose a filling, then they have to clean it up. They have to drill to get, new tissue or new surface or whatever. And so by the time they put in the anesthetic and it took effect, it took much longer for that to happen than it did for the filling, for the repair to take place. And this is my new dentist, and he was very nice. I really liked him, really enjoyed him. Okay, so I was glad when that was over with. Okay, I'm going to try adding a little bit of ink around the edge of the photograph, because the photograph, although it's wonderful, the photograph still has a white edge around it. Now that is picky. It's being picky to do this. And I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference or not. I'm going to hold it up for you to see. So the one on the left has the ink around the edges. The one on the right does not. It just gives it a little more depth. So I'm going to ink around the edges of the photograph. It's a balmy 32 there today. I don't think we're even approaching that yet. I think yesterday, the high was, or when we woke up, it was 12. That is cold. Now, for people who live in Canada and cold climate places, they're like, oh, you poor things. Anyway. Okay, so I'm going to do 8 of these because I have 8 of those red mats. And then we're going to assemble 8 cards. And we're going to go from there. So, yes, tomorrow, the VIP group, we're going to do hand-painted fabric. And then we're going to make something out of the hand-painted fabric. So I've been, once I get the idea, sometimes my muse is a little pokey. And she was a little pokey this month. Besides that, we were just super busy. And yeah, such is life. And then there's all of these obligations and things that you're supposed to do this time of year. I don't know why everybody thinks we have to do it in December, but they do. Some of them are early in the morning, some of them are in the afternoon, some of them are in the evening. Yep. Anyhow. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we'll do a couple of extra ones so we have them ready to go in case I screw something up. And also we're going to decide whether I want to put the ink around the outside of the white envelope. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll take a look at it. Maybe we'll do one, and then I think it's highly unlikely that I'm going to ink the envelopes too, or the card bases. Gosh, I can't even talk straight today. Yeah, anyway. We've had a couple of beautiful days sunshine wise, and the moon has been outstanding. Beautiful out. And then we've had a couple of days that were just so gray and, you know, ugly looking. Super ugly. Makes you appreciate the days when the sun is out. I mean, the other night, the nighttime was brighter than the daytime here because of the moon. It was really bright. Once you get your sponge, whether it's this kind of sponge or some other kind of sponge, once you get it saturated with ink, it makes a huge difference about how quickly you can ink around the edges of something. Sounds like Elton needs to have some rest. Is he on here? He surely isn't. I think he's working. Yeah, I think he's working today. There's always things that people want to have done right at the end of the year. All right, we're going to do one more, then we're going to stop. There's always things people have to have done at the end of the year, and yeah, life is interesting. My accountant has a sign in her office that says, "Your tardiness or your lateness," or something like that, is not my problem, or something like that. It's pretty funny. It would be funnier if I could remember it. Okay, here's the card. You got to make sure that you have it opening the right way. Here is the inked card mat, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller than the measurement of the card. The card's 5.5 inches. Is that right? Yeah, card base is 5.5 inches. The mat is 5 1/4 inches square, and these are 5 inches square. Okay, so there we go. All right, let's put the mat or the picture onto the mat. So we're going to do that, and then so I'm going to put tape on several of the pictures, and we're going to put those on the mats, and then we're going to put the mats on the card, the matted photo on the card base. I find that for me is easier to do it that way than it is to put the mat on the card base and then put the photo on. I just find it easier to handle one thing going on to the card base. One layer. Okay, so let's do this. So I'm not putting the tape, and this is not score tape. It is like score tape, but it is tape that is kind of no-name tape. I do get it from Amazon, and I found out about this tape from Nick the Booksmith, and I imagine you can find the link still on her, I think it was her tools section or something like that. And it came with a whole bunch of different sizes, and it was really reasonable. but there's no name on it. So I'm sure that there's a lot of different places to get double-sided tape, paperback tape. And I know that some people put this on their arm and they manage it that way. I've tried that. That doesn't work for me very well, for whatever reason. And some other people like to cut the tape. I just whack it off at the edges. I don't put it super close to the edge of the prints. Okay, let's do 4 at a time. That is how I like to do things. Break it up into smaller batches. And since these are cards that a lot of people are just going to throw away, I don't spend a whole lot of time being super picky about did I get the tape all the way into the corners, you know? Anyway. Hello, Kathy. It's me who needs rest. I think you're right. You know, I worked so many bazillion hours going from one house to the other house and getting my house ready to sell, and then the emotional whatever of selling it, which was such a relief when it was over, and yet such a hollow, strange experience also. And then Thanksgiving happened, and then, you know, it's just like there just hasn't been any time to just kind of let down. I think is part of the issue. And then you smash right into December, which has been kind of I've had some, you know, kind of weird, just some weird, you know, weird life things happen in December. And we seem to assign, I know I'm not the only one that does this, and I don't even mean to do it, assign significance to dates, and that's where we get in trouble. It's not the date itself, it's the significance that we assign it, right? Okay, let's take a mat that's inked, and then I'm going to bend back 2 corners, opposite corners on the tapes, the paper backings rather. I'll take off the middle, and that's just to kind of help hold it in place a little bit. But if you bend back opposite corners, and although this takes time to do this, it's a little safer way of placing something. So it helps if you can look right down on the top of the thing. And that's hard for me to do without getting my head in the way. But let's give it a shot. Okay. All right, then once you get it placed, then you can pull out the rest of the paper backings. And because that one little piece is in the middle, it's holding things together until you get it all placed down. And I am famous for putting these on crooked, you know, and that one's not too bad. Thank you. That's not too bad. Okay, let's keep going, shall we? Okay, same thing. We're going to go opposite corners. You do have to do these one at a time if you're using this kind of tape. You can't assembly line bending back the corners of a bunch of the tapes, because guaranteed you will stick those down in a place that you don't want to do that. Okay, and it helps if you have something that has a pointy end on it that helps you dig those little paper tapes up. Okay, another one. All right, let's try again. Let's see if we can go for two that are actually relatively straight. Of course, if you cut them straight, that also helps. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Just like that. And then if you use this Teflon bone folder again and just rub it over the edges, that helps. Okay, so there we have two. Not too bad. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so this is a rinse and repeat activity. This morning, I have to show you a funny picture. This morning, the cats came in. They'd been outside. Of course, it was nice and cold, and so they were very anxious to come in and pile up somewhere. This is Socks and Beckett. And, okay, let's see if we can do it again. I'll show you a funny picture of them here in a minute. Do any of the rest of you have trouble putting these things on straight? Ruth Edwards says if somebody cares enough to send her a handmade card, she could care less if it's cattywampus. Well, Ruth, that's because you're a nice person. People who don't make cards don't understand. Okay, let me do two more of these, and then I'll show you a picture of the cats. It is funny. They were very anxious to just snuggle up, and Elton was gone. He left very early this morning because he does something early on Friday mornings. So it was just me, and oh, they just were very happy. But they're big cats, boy. They are big boys, and they just think that they should both snuggle up on my lap or whatever at the same time, and that's a lot of cat. I don't know if you guys remember how big Chance and Charlie were, but in their prime, those cats were big boys. And these two boys rival the weight of Chance and Charlie, for sure. Okay, one more, and then we'll take a cat break. And one of the things they did, of course, when cats come in from being outside, they're pretty frisky. And boy, they were, and all of a sudden it sounded like the thundering herd was racing around in my kitchen area. And that was, they were chasing each other. No, that one's not very straight. Sometimes when you don't get them on there quite the way you wanted to, like there's not nearly as much red down here as up there. When that happens, then I just sign the card in a place that helps to offset the screw up. Yep. Okay. They are just challenging to get on there. Anyway, so they were running around in the kitchen, and then I was working, sitting on the couch. Okay, so I'm taking this at a weird angle. I'm sitting over here at the end. This is a couch. And this, believe it or not, is 2 cats. That's not 1 cat. There's 1 cat on the bottom, and another cat went over and just piled up on top of him. But they're both on top of a fleece blanket. So this probably will clear it up a little bit. By this time, the bottom cat, who has socks, has moved he's kind of scooted himself out from under the other big top cat. But their heads are just all wound around each other. Here's another picture of them. I mean, I'm as bad, and there's the first picture. I'm as bad as the grandma showing the pictures of her grandkids, huh? For real. It was a cat pileup. It certainly was. Okay, let's do some more. We'll do a bunch of these. I should be asking Joan for card instructions, because Joan is the card maker extraordinaire. She really is. Joan spends I don't know how many months making cards for Christmas. I mean, she does the most incredible card. There are quite a few of you that do incredible cards. I know because I've received some of them. But Joan is one of those. She does a lot of die cutting. The cat pile up is that's the best expression. So how are you guys doing with the whole Christmas, December, whatever, holidays, whatever? How are you guys doing with it? All right, let's get rid of a little bit of this because I didn't do that very well. And the funny thing about it is I love doing Christmas stuff, obviously, because I made the Christmas journal with the gnomes and all that stuff. Oh, and speaking of gnomes, wait, let me finish taping this one and then I have to show you. Speaking of the gnomes, I'm glad I said that because I have something I want to show you. Okay, let me burnish these just so I don't forget. Okay. So I have another picture to show you. She does make wonderful cards. Joan is a card maker. Okay, you guys, look at this. I didn't ask for permission to show this. I just assumed. Dorothy, our Dorothy, Pandora's Box, in the chat, that's what she did with the little gnome, one of the little gnome drawings that I uploaded for you guys if you wanted them. So she took it and embroidered it. Is that cute or what? Isn't that the cutest? Dorothy, that is great. I don't know what you did with it after you got him done, but he's adorable. He's adorable. He is. Thank you for sending that to me. Okay. Joan says, I use call all glue to stick things down like that. It allows you to straighten it out. Ah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea right there. So she uses glue that buys her a little bit of time. Tape does not allow you time. That is true. But if you can get it on there straight, sort of, then the tape just sticks so quickly. It is so cute. Dorothy does amazing embroidery. She really does. And needlework. Our Dorothy's quite an artist. I don't know if I did this one or not. Don't think I did. The burnishing really does help quite a bit. Yeah, those I don't want to do yet. Okay, let me see how many mats I have left. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have... Okay. I have 3 mats that are prepared, so let's go ahead and stick these together, and then we'll do some more, because we can. Okay, again, bending 2 corners back. Dorothy, I don't even know what that is. Dorothy's from the UK, in case you guys don't know. Sometimes they use expressions that I have no idea what it means. Okay, let's see if we can do this one. It really does help if you stand up over these. Well, this one's going to have a lot of extra red at the bottom. And that I don't really mind, because if there's extra of the red mat at the bottom, then that gives me a place to sign them. So that does not bother me at all. Okay. A very old fool. Okay. That I understand. And that is not correct, Dorothy. Just so you know, that is not correct. You are not a very old fool. You are a very lovely human being that I have known for a number of years. And you are anything but a fool. All right, let's do it again. I may just purposely put a little extra red at the bottom. And if you forget to remove that one in the middle, that tape backing in the middle, nobody's ever going to know the difference. Nobody's ever going to know. Okay, get rid of tapes. Add a little glue to the exposed tape. That way you have the liberty to move the card. That is a very good idea. And if I were making one card, I would so do that. The fact that I'm making 100, it's going to be what it's going to be. But that is absolutely the best idea, Shu. The best idea. For real. And I have done that in the past where I've added glue on top of the tape. Is a very good idea. And people who are card makers, you know, that's their primary thing that they love to do. They know all the tricks, and that is, so you listen to them. I'm not one of those. I am not one of those. Okay, I think we have 8 of these. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're going to do these two, which are, these two are a different color red, but you know what? We're going to be okay with that. So we're going to do 2 more. Actually, you know what? Let me just cut, instead of doing that, let me cut a couple more pieces of paper down into mats, and we will just make 8 more cards because we can, because it's not hard. Okay, and if my paper cutter was super accurate, that's what I would use my paper cutter to cut the mats. But you know what? It's not. And so I'm going to do them this way. This is 12 by 12 cardstock. Okay, so the way that I'm cutting these down is to cut them to 10.5. Cut each page down to 10.5 square. And I like using the square ruler because it gives me a shot at keeping things lined up. Okay, so I now have it down to 10.5 by 10.5. And now I can do 5.25. Okay. And then 5.25. And you need to have pressure You need to put pressure on the ruler, and that helps if you're standing up to do that. Okay, so 5.25. And I'm lining it up both sides. Pressure on the ruler. Keep if you're using a rotary cutter, make sure that you keep the pressure toward the ruler so the angle, the blade angles into the ruler. If you don't have pressure toward the ruler, you're going to go off on it. It will just take you off on its own journey. Okay, let's do one more. So again, we're going to go to 10.5 on both sides. Squaring up as you go, 10.5. And all is good as long as your paper was square to begin with. And sometimes the ruler still wants to move a little bit. You kind of have to make peace with the fact that it's a hand-done thing. Okay. Cut it down to 5.25. Okay, and then 5.25, and square it up. Keep it square as you go. One more. Okay, so we have 8 more mats prepared. And then I'm going to ink those. It's a great idea though, Shu. The thing about adding glue over the tape is a very good idea. It really is. Whether it's your idea or somebody else's idea, it's a very good idea. Okay, 1. If you try to do things if you're going to assembly line things, if you'll do them all the same step to each one, then you can keep yourself straight. And when you're streaming and talking, it's especially important to try to do that. Yep, it is. Our highway that goes through this, right through the center of our city, is an interstate. And they have decided, which when it's all done will be great, but it is making life most challenging right now, because when it's all done, where they are widening the highway to 3 lanes on each side, which is currently 2 lanes, but they're widening it to 3 lanes both directions, east and west, which will really help, because the traffic on the interstate, especially with trucks, has gotten really congested. But in the process of doing that, the way that they're doing it, so that they don't have to totally shut down the highway, is they're doing it in stages. And I won't bore you with the details, other than to say about once a week we get surprised with what lane closures there are or what detours there are. And it's just, not only are they doing that, but they're also having to adjust the alternate routes, to try and get some of the traffic rerouted. And so we find ways around the interstate, and then they change something there, and it's just a continual craziness right now of adaptation. And so about once a week, Elton goes into the office, and then he'll send me a text and say, stay off of eastbound, or stay off of westbound, or don't go this route, or don't go that. And I'm like, man, I'm just getting used to living out here. Now I can't even go the way I wanted to go. Okay, we have 3 that I've inked. We need to do 5 more, so I have enough here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? All right. Because I do like that ink around the edge of the picture. It just takes away that white edge of the photo print, which you would not think makes that much of a difference, but it really does. There's a lot of clearances on my desk right now. Surely are. 1. Yeah, it's probably a good time to start. It's December 5th. I know. We're trying to get it together here. I thought I'd started in plenty of time, but when you have to put them together, it takes you a while. Yeah, Joan said you can do the same thing with glue stick on the tapes. And that is a great idea too. There are all kinds of good tips and tricks for card making. Most of which I have known or someone has told me, and then I ignore because I'm always, you know what? You know why? Because I'm always in a bloomin' hurry to get something done. And I think, oh, I just don't have time to do that. One of the things my mom used to say was, the hurrier I go, the behinder I get. I didn't understand that for a long time as a kid growing up. I understand it now. The hurrier I go, the behinder I get. That is so true, isn't it? Okay. And I think we have enough to do another set. Okay, so there's those. And here's these. And the great part about these, if you have a little spot like that, it doesn't matter because it's going to get covered up anyway, right? So let's do 8 more and then we'll put these cards together. Bye, Connie. Good to see you. Okay, so let's tape these. We'll tape 4 or however many we ended up with. You do have to watch that you don't get any of the ink sponge poops on your surface, because if you do, that could mar your photograph. And if you tear where it tears beyond the edge, then you kind of have to adjust and cut off the little hangy over parts. Yeah, I wish you could have seen those cats this morning running around in here. It was just they were frisky because it was so cold out. They were chasing each other like crazy. And then once they warmed up, then they just piled up on top of each other. They really are funny cats. You know, Chance seemed like Chance was old. And he was, because I think he was 18 when he passed away. It seemed like he'd been old for a long time. And I think that's because he was. He deserved it. I had heard from some people that Siamese did not live to be very old. And Chance and Charlie definitely proved that. They must have been an exception, because they sure lived, both of them. Charlie was 16 and Chance was 18. This tape is good and sticky, I'll tell you that. Okay, we're going to do 4 at a time. Let's see, what else have I been doing? I don't know. You know, I just don't have the energy level that I used to have. I used to work from early in the morning until into the night. I don't do that anymore. Seemed like when I turned 70, it's like my body kind of went, maybe not. one more, and then we'll assemble these four. Okay, I actually have 5 prints. We may use one of those off-brand or off-color red. It's not the same as these. Just so we have an even number put together. Yeah, it's hard to believe that I am past 70 now. There we go, doing it again. Such is life. It's a good life. You just sometimes have to pay attention to your body a little more so than when I was younger. You know, you have, oh no, I'm okay. 1, 2, wait a minute. 3, yeah, that's right. Okay, we're going to stop there and do these. Okay, let's do these. Okay. Your mother-in-law is 93, but she's hard on herself. Yes, she needs a walker, but she still gets out. Good for her. Elton Faye, no comment. You know, one of his favorite things to say to people when he sends cards to people, because he sends a lot of birthday cards, and most of them are inappropriate, by the way. And he'll always say, send a card to somebody, and he calculates, you know, how much twice their age is. Like if they turned 50, it's like halfway to 100. He always says that. Wow, you're really old. You're halfway to whatever. He does. He does that. Okay, back to here. Okay, you probably would rather see me a little closer up so you can see if I really screw it up, huh? All right. You guys give him grief. He deserves it. Not really. Okay, there's another one. Elton is older than I am, so he doesn't have any room to talk. Okay, here we go. You do kind of catch a rhythm once you get going on these. If everything is cut straight and you kind of get your eye in to the process, then it works pretty well. But you kind of have to catch a rhythm doing this. I once asked my mom at what age did she feel old. She said when she doubled her age and knew she wouldn't make it. Age is just, you know, it is just a number. But you do have to sort of make peace with the fact that energy levels change. You know, your body changes. Things just change, that's all. And sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with age. Sometimes it has to do with what's going on in your life, you know? I do like this kind of paperback tape that you can position things and then pull off the paper backings. Okay, so we have one more, and then we're going to do another group of 4. And then we're going to put all these mats that we've done, matted photos, we're going to put them on the card backs, the pre-folded card back notes, and let's see how they look. And then I'm going to feel pretty successful if I can get 25 of them done. That's a quarter of them finished. Now, you guys may not want to stay here while I do that, but you might. Okay, let's eyeball that. I got the sweetest picture from my granddaughter this week, and it was of her little boy he's about 18 months, yeah, he's right at 18 months now or thereabouts. She said he loves books. I'm like, that is a boy after my heart. Okay, I have 5 more done. I have only 4 mats, so we're going to steal one of these red ones that's not the same color red, but you know, the person that gets it's not going to know any different. We're just going to ink it real quick. This is a different color red, but I don't feel like cutting up any more mats yet. And these mats are, these are 65-pound mats, and I will tell you, some of these green ones that I showed you earlier, these, I don't know what pound paper that is, but man, oh man, was that some heavy paper. I don't even know where I got it. But holy moly, it has got some thickness to it, and square cards already cost more to mail, so we don't need big heavy mats. They must be 100 or 110 pound, probably 110. Yeah, it's probably 110 pounds of paper. I didn't say that right, but you guys knew what I meant. Anyway, she sent me this picture of my little grandson. He's about 18 months. And she said, this boy loves books. She said, sometimes I find him just enjoying books. And I'm like, oh, that is a baby after my own heart. When I was a little kid, I remember very well laying on a bed. When I was much older than he is, with a whole pile of little golden books. Do you guys remember what those are? And I loved, on the back of the little golden books, there were all these characters marching around like they formed a border around the book, the edge of the book. And I can remember being so enamored with those little golden books and looking at those characters, and yeah. I thought, that's my boy. There he is, reading books. I'd like to say he takes after his gram. He's not my biological great-grandchild, but emotionally he's definitely my great-grandchild. We are connected. Anybody who loves books like that, yep, we're connected. When my son was little, it was before you had CD players. You had cassette tape players. Back in the dark ages, no such thing as a computer or a wasn't the predecessor to the iPod, the shuffle. No shuffles, no iPods, no phones. You only had cassette tape player. And so you could buy books with cassette tapes. And when my son was little, he loved to lay on his bed when he was supposed to be taking a nap. When he got old enough to learn how to operate the cassette player himself, he would lay on his bed and he'd listen and he'd read the books, because of course he knew all the words to most of the books because we'd read them a billion times. It was so sweet. One of the funniest ones, though, is Claus Man would get tired of reading the same books. And so he got to where he would record cassette tapes for our son, for Race. And the funniest one was, it was, I forgot the name of the book, but it was about, it was put out by the La Leche League, and it was preparing a young child for a new sibling coming. Now, we never had any more kids, but I had the book, and Race loved the book. And he was old enough to talk, but he wasn't old enough to read the book to himself. And there was a puppy in the book named Fluppy. I don't know. It was one of the two. Anyway, whichever it was. I guess it was Fruppy. I don't know. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter in this story. But Claus Man is going to make his own cassette tape. And so he has a glass and a spoon. And Race was just little enough that he could stand on the couch, put his arm around his daddy's neck. All right, let's see if we can get this one. And so Claus Man he wants to do a good job. He wants to make the recording really good. And so he's explaining to Race that he has to be quiet. They're going to make a recording for him of the book. And so they're doing fine until they get to the part with the dog's name. And I think the dog's name was Fruppy. Well, whatever it was, doesn't matter. Claus Man was saying the wrong one. And so you hear this little voice going, Fruppy, Daddy, Fruppy, real softly, because he's trying to correct his dad. So it's quiet, so it doesn't, interrupt the tape. But it's very important to Race that it's correct. So you hear on the tape, Claus Man is saying, okay, this is all very, very quiet, but it was all recorded on the tape. Okay. And so they go on another page, but Claus Man has not corrected himself, and Race is not having it. And so he leans over a little closer to his dad, and he says, Fruppy, Daddy, Fruppy, just a little bit louder. This goes on for a couple more pages, and Claus Man has not yet corrected the error of his reading ability. Ooh, that one's a little crooked. Oh well. And Race leans in. Finally, he's now exasperated with his father for not saying the right word. And now, very loudly, he says, "Fruppy, Daddy, fruppy." Because he's exasperated about this situation. He should not have to correct his father, who can read. And so Clausman, in all of his best intentions to make this thing a really good recording for his son, says, "Okay, fruppy." I mean, it is the funniest. I'm sitting in the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen cooking and listening to this. And I'm telling you, I am dying laughing. Because, and that's all Race wanted. That's all he wanted. Just wanted his dad to say the right word. That's all. He goes, "Okay." And then he was ready to go on with the story. And that's the way that recording was from then on. And I don't know, I looked for it, trying to find it when I was moving, because I thought that that would be great to have, but I don't think I ever found it. So it must have gotten destroyed at some place, because those cassette tapes didn't last forever. But all I remember is this little voice trying very hard to help his dad. "Fruppy, Daddy, fruppy." Because his dad was calling it fluppy or whatever word he had misspoken. Oh goodness. You know, sometimes you just have those memories that come up and you go, "Golly, that was a funny moment." And some of the best memories are exactly those. They're not the ones that are the perfect moments. They are the ones that are the kind of crazy, imperfect moments. Those are the best moments, you know? Yeah, dear Barb. Dear Barb, I'm halfway to 154. See? Now, how does that feel, Elton? How does that feel? Okay. That's only until February. Last year, I took him because we were invited to go to Charlotte, North Carolina, to the induction, Hall of Fame induction for Carl Edwards, because he grew up with my son, and he grew up eating food out of my refrigerator from the time he was in junior high until the day he was actually, I was going to say until the day before he got married, but that's not entirely true, because when Clausman passed away on New Year's Day, Carl was around and he came over to our house, and he was, the first thing he always did when he came in to my house was say, "Mrs. Owen, you have anything to eat?" Yep. And that day, and at this point he's been married several years and has 2 kids, and he came in that day, and of course he knew Clausman really well. And he walks in the house, and I knew he was I knew he was going to want something to eat, because that's just the way he was. He was a bottomless pit. I think he had a wooden leg, a hollow leg. We always accused him of that anyway. He came in and sat down. We were all sitting around the table, kitchen table, talking and reminiscing and what have you. Rick was there and his wife, and it was the four of us. And somebody had given us a thing of pecans, you know, like already picked out pecans. And I said, Carl, are you hungry? Because we didn't call him Carl because I knew him by a different name when he grew up. And he goes, oh, no, I'm fine. Yeah, about 20 minutes later, he said, did you say you had some pecans? Yeah, I did. And then I knew everything was going to be okay because Carl was there eating just like he had since he was 14, I guess. And around the dining table, just like we always had. So I knew things were going to be okay. Anyway, he was inducted into the Racing Hall of Fame. He was a car racer. He raced trucks and cars in the NASCAR circuit. Yeah, that's going to be fine. I'm just going to leave the card base alone. Okay, wait. I got to get my eye into this first before I stick it down. Okay, 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And so anyway, we were invited to go to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and it happened to be on Elton's birthday. So I don't know what I'm going to do this year because I don't think I can top that one. Okay, it looks pretty good. Good job. Bye, Joan. Good to see you. Okay. Now, you may wonder why I'm using this thing, Advanced Tape Glider, as opposed to this kind of tape for this stage. The reason is this. These are photo prints, and the back is a little slick. And so I find that the double stick paperback tape like this works better to put a photo print onto a mat. This is just cardstock, and I find that it works just fine to use this tape glider, which is quite a bit quicker to use than the paperback tape. Need to get a little bit more there. So that's the reason. Okay? All right. Now, 1/8 of an inch. Yeah. Sometimes I still don't get it super straight. You know, it is what it is. Okay, there we go. But I think these are going to be just fine with the white around the edge and not ink around the white. So I'm good. I'm good with that. Dorothy says when she was little, she was found reading. If she was found reading, she was given something to do. I think reading is a great activity. Sometimes I don't go very straight with this thing. Now, if you go off the edge, I'm going to show you what you have to do. I didn't exactly go off the edge, but I'm really close. So if you just roll, kind of push back on the tape, like this right here, just roll it back, you're good. You're good to go. All right. And I find that if I go over it from the inside, that the adhesion is easy to do and very good. So we're going to finish it. Good grief. I can't believe, of course we started late. I was going to say, I can't believe it's 3 o'clock. Well, it's because we started late. Because I didn't have any sound and my broadcast app was not cooperating. Everything was just a little wonky when I started today. The gremlins. The gremlins were getting me. Oh, I have to show you another picture. I'll show you here in a second. I told you that we have 4 cats. 4 cats and no dogs at the moment. We have 2 cats. Hi, Alicia. Oh, good to see you. I didn't realize you were here. That's great. All right, let me see where I put the picture. Oh, this is a funny one. This happened last night. Okay, this was last night. It was cold out, and this is Socks, and he had just come inside. This is a copper, I don't know, wash tub or something. I don't know. It's oval shaped. And I have a bunch of blankets in there, dog blankets to be exact, waterproof dog blankets. And he discovered it last night. And so he went over there because he was cold and piled up in that tub and laid down because it was nice and soft. There he is. He was very happy. He was very happy. No, there was another one, another picture I wanted to show you of the outside cats. Here we go. This was this morning. Elton sent me this. This is the front of the house, the front door, which needs to be painted, and you know, there's always stuff to do, right? These are milk boxes out here where the milk company used to deliver milk, and on top of them, they're metal. And so on top of each of the metal milk boxes was posted one of the outdoor cats. So the one on the right is, as you're looking at it, his name is Blue because he's named for looking like blue cheese. The other one on the other side, on the left side, the gray and white one, is Braveheart. They're litter mates. But it was just like they were posted there to keep an eye on everything. Such funny, funny cats. Funny cats. Okay. We're going to go until I get this grouping of things I already have matted up done. And then we'll go away for the rest of the day because I have successfully kept you all enthralled with my card making, extraordinary card making abilities. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see if we can do this. The only thing I really detest about this is loading it. Ugh. Yeah, I find loading those refills into it is a kind of a pain. So I'm going to have to come up with some idea for celebrating Elton's birthday this year. Because I don't think I know anybody else that could be inducted into a Hall of Fame anything. So I'm going to have to come up with some other idea. I do like these cards. I mean, I know that I painted this picture of Clarence. I know I did it, but I really like it. I guess it's good when you like your own stuff, huh? So what I will do on these is, before I send them out, I will write Clarence's name down here, and then I'll write somewhere on here, I'll write my name so they know that I actually created the card, and date it. Then maybe they won't throw it out. Maybe they will. That is the thing about doing handmade cards. You have to know that that could be what could happen. Because not everybody understands handmade cards and what goes into them. Even though I've had the photograph reproduced, you know how it is when you make cards. It still takes time to put them together, even if you've gotten pictures done. I do love this company and how they do the prints. They do a lot of amazing prints. So their goal is to get people to get their photos out of their phones and out where people can actually see them, and not locked up in a phone that could get lost or stolen or thrown away or whatever. So I appreciate their mission to encourage people to print their photos and make them into books or albums or... Sorry, it is one squeaky little apparatus, isn't it? Persnickety Prints is the name of the company. Oh, we're getting there. Next week, on next Saturday, not this one, but a week from tomorrow, we go to Elton's family Christmas activity, and the home where we're going is the home of a middle school art teacher, so I think that should be a lot of fun. And he and his wife decided that, everyone should wear pajamas. I don't know why I'm having trouble here. Hold on. Maybe if I stop talking. This one must just be really exceedingly crooked. See, this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to put it down. I'm going to add another strip of tape. You really don't want to put it down and then rip it back off. So let's try again. Better. So they decided everyone should come make it a pajama party. And they were giving us, I know it's hard to believe anybody would give Elton trouble. They were giving us trouble about Elton's pajamas, and that he knew the host, the middle school teacher, knew that Elton's pajamas had lace on them, and he couldn't wait to see that. So I'm going to put lace on Elton's pajamas. Yes, I am. So I have that to do before we go. because I think that will be funny, and I will try to get pictures to prove it. When you're putting something on a card base, you got to make sure that it opens the right way, because when a square card, it's pretty easy to have them open the wrong way. This way is not bad, because this way you could still go this, but if you put it on this way and it opens backwards, not so good. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're ever going to do this. So, yep, Elton's going to have lace on his pajamas. So, and we have to drive a couple hours to get to the family Christmas. So, if we have to get out at all, it could be kind of an interesting explanation as to why we have flannel pajamas with lace on them, don't you think? Ah, dedication on your 78th birthday. So that's what we're doing this year, huh? We're going to a dedication on your birthday this year? I've talked about that youth home quite a bit in the past. We're getting close to the end of this. I'm sorry about how squeaky that thing is. That is really obnoxious, but there's nothing I can do about it. So anyway, maybe some of the things I've done here today will give you some hints about what to do or not to do when it comes to making up your cards. I think part of my issue today is I haven't had enough to eat. Sometimes I forget to eat. All right. Just roll up a little bit of tape here and there that kind of is hanging off the edge. All right. Always checking the card to make sure we're opening the right way, I hope. And I think we only have 3 or 4 more. Three more. Let's do these. And I appreciate you guys keeping me company once I finally got here. I really do. And I will be back Monday night, as far as I know. Be back Monday night, and I'm not sure what we'll do. I still want to do those pin cushions and the antique spoons. I don't know if we'll get that done Monday night. Maybe. We'll see. You only have to make it through this card and one more before the squeaky tape glider is no longer in your hearing. Okay, here we go. This one and one more. And then we'll count and see how many I actually did. It's probably not even an even number. And then I'll have to do 2 more. Or 1 more, just so it's an even number. You think? Okay, here we go. How obnoxious. it really is important that if you run off the edge that you bend those little bits back. That way you don't have your cards sticking to each other. Okay, there we go. I think I hear Elton Faye coming in here. I don't know where to squirt it, so yeah.
I will.
Here. This is what he just brought into me. Something to de-squeak it. The problem is that if it gets in there where it drips at all, it's gonna ruin cards. So
we'll try it afterward.
Yeah, after I'm done. Okay, this is how many we did today. All right, let's count. A little bit of tape something on the back. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. See, I told you it was going to be some weird number. 17. But anyway, they're done. Yeah. Okay, and so there you go. There is, there's what we got done today. Not bad, considering we had a hard time getting going today. So, anyway. Oh, come see me. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here and say goodbye to everybody. Whoa. Here's Mr. Beckett. He just came in. He's still cold and his feet are wet. Ugh. Not only are they wet, they are dirty. Anyway, here's Mr. Beckett. He's telling everybody goodbye. It's good to see you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your patience today. I'll see you, VIP members, I'll see you tomorrow. Your email stuff will go out later today or super early in the morning. And I will see you then. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you Monday evening at 7 Eastern. Until then, as always, you know the drill. Be nice to somebody. Do something kind for somebody else. Rescue a cat. Yeah, you never know when you might get a really good one like this. Or this. Or this one. Or rescue a man.
That's more like it.
That's right. Anyway, as always, remember to get creative today. It's easy. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.